Welcome back to Eatright by George. Now we're on part 2 of our comparison of eating back in the early days and eating now. And as you see, we followed little Andrew while he was trying to make his plate. And you can try and see here some of the reasons why Americans are so overweight and obese now is the introduction of all-you-can-eat buffet. And one of the problems is people tend to crowd their plates and put a lot of foods on there that are not as nutrient dense. As you can see here, there are no vegetables, there's no fruits, very little good carbs. Mostly a lot of the bad carbs are here, and fried foods, and the plate is all piled up. As you can see, we should be making our plates half fruits and vegetables, 1/4 protein, 1/4 carbohydrate. So this is an example of portion distortion, what we're experiencing in today's modern day society, where foods are no longer really grown at home, or people do not eat from the farm or home cooked meals as much. They go to all-you-can-eat buffets often, and this is the result. Overeating, and then, of course, leads to childhood obesity. Here on Eatright by George. And next I'm going to show you the complete opposite, the better plate, how we should be eating at the buffet. We're on Eatright by George, comparing early days to now.
Oh my gosh.
Now on the other hand, I'm going to show you now how the plate should look. If you do go to a all-you-can-eat buffet, you can still eat healthy. So if you take a look here at this plate, this is Alex's. Now this one is half fruits and vegetables with the watermelon and then the salad. He has some protein from the chickpeas. He's got berries, which are anti-cancer food. He's got a lot of color in his plate, and it's not overly crowded with simple carbohydrates, bad carbohydrates. So this is an example of a good plate with lots of vitamins and nutrient-dense food, proving that you can eat healthy even at an all-you-can-eat buffet, which is something that, like I mentioned earlier, something that is plaguing our society, because people are portioning their plates way too high in simple carbohydrates. So this is a good example here, and it is possible to eat healthy even when eating out in today's society. But it just takes a little planning and knowing which types of foods to add to your plate. And always to remember eating like the colors of the rainbow. Here on Eatright by George. Welcome to Eatright by George. As we continue our discussion about all-you-can-eat buffets, and one of the disadvantages of an all-you-can-eat buffet, if you're trying to follow a healthy diet, is that you can get just about anything you want. So if you look at this plate here, it's so diverse. There's fruit, which is a good thing, but then there's fried chicken, which is not such a good thing when you're trying to eat healthy. And this is his second trip to the buffet. This is his second trip, and he's not done yet. So that's just, he's eating all his calories in one meal, which he should be eating in the entire day. He's eating them practically in one meal. And this is his second plate. So we're gonna stick around for the next plate to see what he gets for his next trip up to the all-you-can-eat buffet. You're at Eatright by George. Hey, welcome back to Eatright by George, the Healthy Cooking Show. In today's edition, comparing foods from the 1980s and beyond, and now comparing them to today's foods, how we're eating, and I'm at a buffet in present day. This is part 2, and I just wanted to give you some more examples, some additional examples to eating healthy while eating out on an all-you-can-eat buffet. Here's a better example of how we should be eating. As you can see here, half of our plate here is vegetables. You see the tomatoes here, the green beans, broccoli. I have a cabbage roll with some tomato sauce, which is a good portion. I have a few shrimp, which are lower in calories, and then I have dill-crusted salmon. Of course, salmon has omega-3s, which is a better type of fat, with the lemon, adding a little bit of vitamin C to our dish. So as you can see, this is a good plate. This is a good dinner plate you're going to be eating. This is lower in calories, lower in saturated fat, and higher in all the vitamins that we need. Then if you take a look over to the right, here's another one if you're a big seafood lover. Here's some shrimp scampi, small portion of fish, some green beans, a little veggie sushi. And then if you look a little farther, we have a steak. Now remember, when you're eating things like steak, you should be eating a steak that's the size of a deck of cards. So you don't want your plate to be half meat. You only want your meat to be 1/4 of the plate. So make sure when you're eating out, you're eating steaks, cut them in half and try to size them to the size of a deck of cards. So there you have it. And of course, I'm having some tea. There you have it. Some more healthy eating tips here on Eatright by George when eating out in today's world. Welcome back. In conclusion to the Eatright by George cooking show, healthy can be delicious, and in this case, healthy sometimes is portion distortion, because as you can see here now, we're in our 3rd sitting, and you can see right here that they're now having their dessert, which is an oversized eclair, and a big piece of brownie. They also had cherry pie, more brownie. So to top off all those excess of calories, we are now adding more sugar and calories and fat to the meal, which was already oversized, and now it's even more nutrient lacking. So it's one of the problems with today's society and our food. What is contributing to obesity are these types of foods, and then the overeating. Something that we did not have back in the early days, maybe 30 or 50 years ago. A lot of these foods were not so readily available. As you can see, back then they had just fruits like apples and bananas, which they do have here as well, but back then these types of foods were more of a luxury, and then desserts and things were something that were sparingly, or not something you could have every day, only on a special occasion. Now these types of foods are available every day, anytime you want. You could come to an all-you-can-eat buffet and you can get things like warm brownie and big portions of pies and cakes and cookies, and all these types of things, of course, are contributing to obesity. As you know, most of the United States, you can find these types of foods. In the United States, people are, 1/3 of them are overweight or obese. They're suffering from things like heart disease, diabetes is very prevalent, pre-diabetes now is very prevalent. Many people are pre-diabetic and don't even know it. And one of the reasons is because they're not very active, and then they're eating foods such as these, as you've seen today. Here on Eatright by George. Thanks for watching. And on the next part of our show, I'll demonstrate how we can have healthier foods at home by gardening and growing our own garden and preparing foods, more home-cooked meals. Thanks for watching.